Chapter 1 Shadows and Stars. In the far corner of the room, at the edge of her seat, sat Violet Scarlett Parker. Her wild curls framed her face like a chaotic halo, a vivid contrast to the dull classroom walls. The air buzzed with chatter about the upcoming field trip, excitement crackling in the atmosphere. Violet could hardly contain her enthusiasm, her pen racing across the page as she jotted down every word. "Picture this, my crew," Mr. Thompson, the history teacher with a flair for the dramatic, leaned in, lowering his voice like he was sharing a secret. "The Salem witch trials, over 20 innocent lives lost in the whirlwind of Historia. But what if witches aren't just relics of the past? What if they're still among us today?" A chorus of gasps resonated through the classroom as students leaned in, intrigued. Mr. Thompson's eyes sparkled with mischief. "Speaking of the past, have you seen the news? A string of young adults have gone missing locally. It's been everywhere. What if it's connected to something darker, like a modern-day witch hunt?" Violet's heart raced, the pulse of history intertwining with today's reality. She doodled ancient symbols in her notebook, feeling the weight of secrets buried beneath their mundane lives. This trip wasn't just about history. It was a chance to uncover truths that could flip their world upside down. "Remember, folks," Mr. Thompson continued, his voice animated, "this trip isn't merely about history. It's about exposing truths hidden within myths. Think about how society still targets those who are different. It's like a modern witch hunt, and it's happening right now. I just dropped a new video linking historical witch hunts to today's social stigma." Violet shot her hand up, excitement bubbling inside her. "Ah, our queen of YouTube," Mr. Thompson beamed. "Spill the tea." Laughter rippled through the room as Violet basked in the moment. "In my video, I explored how society brands people as different or weird, just like way back when. Those lessons stick with us." Caleb, the quiet guy known for his brooding vibe, perked up from his usual silence, curiosity flickering in his dark eyes. "That's a solid take," he said, glancing at her, genuine interest evident. "Great job, Violet," Mr. Thompson nodded. "We'll dive deeper into those themes on the trip. But remember, the hunt for the different isn't just historical. It serves as a warning about what's happening in our world today." As the classroom buzzed back to life, Violet turned to her accountability buddy, Caleb, her enthusiasm infectious. "What angles should we explore? There's so much ground to cover. Fear in society, folklore's influence. Do you believe in magic, or at least the possibility of it?" Caleb raised an eyebrow, clearly intrigued. Violet thought for a moment, her pulse quickening at the concept of someone else being interested in the subject. "I think there's a lot we don't understand about our world. Magic or not, people always seek answers in strange, sometimes dangerous ways." Before he could respond, Mr. Thompson clapped his hands, capturing everyone's attention. "For the assignments during our trip, I want each pair to choose a topic related to the witch trials to explore. You'll present your findings when we return, so make sure you find something you're passionate about." Caleb stared out the window, lost in thought. What about comparing the trials to today's witch hunts? What modern forms do they take? "Exactly," Violet bounced in her seat. "That's such a powerful discussion." Caleb flashed a teasing grin. "Just hope we don't accidentally brew actual curses while we're there." Laughter erupted, but a thrill stirred within Violet. This trip to Salem wasn't going to be ordinary. With Caleb's unexpected enthusiasm, she felt like the universe was aligning for something big. When the final bell rang, her heart raced with anticipation as she packed her backpack. Decked out with enamel pins, it felt like a trophy of her achievements. Violet was the ultimate freshman, an all-star juggling drama club, debate team, and her rising YouTube channel focused on tarot readings. Her positive vibes wrapped around her like a shield against the harshness of high school. Still, inside, she sometimes felt like a fraud, insecurities creeping just beneath the surface. By the lockers, Caleb huddled in his hoodie, blending into the background. Gemma and her crew called out, their curiosity tinged with judgment. "Hey, Caleb, you coming to the field trip or what?" Gemma leaned against her locker, her tone a blend of challenge and casual interest. Caleb shrugged, fidgeting with his lock. "Yeah, I'll be there. Just working on some notes." "Oh, right," she laughed lightly, sarcasm dripping from her words. "You'll probably have all the facts memorized, huh?" "Or casting spells," Nate, the class clown, chimed in, earning snickers from others. "Can't wait to see you conjuring magic in the graveyard." Heat rushed to Caleb's cheeks, embarrassment biting hard. "Yeah, I'm not really into that," he mumbled, hastily shutting his locker. Just then, Violet's bright voice cut through the noise. "Caleb," she slipped beside him, beaming like a ray of sunshine. "We're talking about the trip. Why not join us?" Caleb shot a glance at Gemma and Nate, feeling their icy vibes. "I'm good, thanks," he replied, eager to retreat into the safety of his hoodie. Oh, come on, don't be distant, Gemma insisted, her grin strained. Everyone's gonna have a blast. We want to hear what you think about the witch trials. Yeah, don't you have any thoughts on witches, or do you just slink away with your tarot cards? Nate added, playful but pointed. With fierce determination, Violet shot Nate a glare before leaning closer to Caleb. Nate, not cool. It's fine, Caleb muttered, feeling the walls close in, not really interested in sharing if it's just going to end up as a joke. Right then, sorry for bothering you, Gemma said, her voice laced with sarcasm. If we're showcasing our topics, come up with something interesting. Violet exchanged a look with Caleb, her expression one of defiance and encouragement. Caleb's got great ideas. Just give him a minute to show what he can do. Yeah, like how you stare at your notes all day, Nate laughed, the crowd's laughter swelling. Hope your material for the trip isn't as boring as that. Despite the urge to retreat, Caleb felt Violet's support clash against the ridicule. I'll be there, he managed through clenched teeth, a mix of defeat and determination simmering within him. As Gemma and Nate strode away, Violet turned to Caleb, her eyes sparkling with encouragement. Don't let them get you down. Everyone has something valuable to share. I know you'll come up with something amazing. He offered her a tentative smile. Thanks, Violet. It's just hard. I get it, she said earnestly, but you won't be alone. I'll be right next to you. Teamwork makes the dream work. Her optimism ignited a flicker of hope within him. Maybe this trip wouldn't just be another history class. With curiosity piqued, he felt a spark of excitement. As they headed toward the parking lot, Violet grinned. See you tomorrow, Caleb. We're going to crush it in Salem. Yeah, he replied, warmth spreading through him as she walked away. Talk later. Inhaling deeply, the crisp evening air thick with promise and uncertainty, he turned back to his locker. Maybe high school was a path to connection, and perhaps, just maybe, a little light could poke through the cracks of his guarded heart. For now, the shadows beckoned, secrets swirling just out of reach. With every step home, Violet felt the cool autumn air wrap around her like a cozy scarf. But something felt off. Leaves crunched beneath her feet, whispering secrets while the scent of pine mingled with something darker. An unsettling hint of decay that made her shiver, as though nature itself were sharing a warning. As Violet turned the corner onto her street, the familiar sight of her home brought both comfort and apprehension. She entered the porch, pausing at the flickering light overhead. An ordinary bulb, yet tonight, it felt more like a warning than a welcome. Violet, her mother's voice called from inside. Is that you? Yeah, it's me, Violet replied, suppressing her anxiety. She stepped inside. The warmth contrasted sharply with the chill in the air. Her mother sat at the kitchen table, newspaper spread out before her, brows furrowed in concentration. Have you seen this? Her mother held up an article with bold letters screaming, Another disappearance in the area. The headline sent a shiver down Violet's spine. Mom, not again, Violet replied, forcing a laugh to mask her dread. You're reading too many thrillers. Her mother met her gaze, eyes serious. This isn't a novel, Violet. These girls go missing and nobody knows where they are. It's disturbing. What if... Don't say it, Violet interrupted, an edge creeping into her voice. What if they're like witches or something? Though she knew her mother loved to joke about her tarot reading, the laughter didn't come. Not funny, her mother said quietly. That witch trial documentary you're obsessed with. People get hurt when fear takes over. Just be careful, all right? Don't worry, I'm not planning to summon any spirits, Violet replied, trying to lighten the mood, though her heart wasn't in it. She wiped her sweaty palms on her jeans, her mind racing back to the article she skimmed online before heading home. Maybe you should stay off your channel for a while, her mother suggested, a hint of worry in her eyes. It's not a good time to be drawing attention to yourself. Violet shook her head, her determination flaring. But I can't just stop being me. This is important. If I can share what I know, maybe I can help, or at the very least, make people think. I get it, but think about the implications. You've heard what they say about the witches in the news. People are scared, and scared people, they do irrational things. The weight of her mother's words sank in. Violet felt the air thickening, suffocating her. Mom, I'll be fine, she said, trying to sound confident, but her voice wavered. Besides, I have the tarot reading tonight. It might actually shed some light on things. Her mother's expression softened, but the worry lingered. Just promise me. You'll call if anything feels off. Please. Violet nodded, though the knot in her stomach tightened. As she retreated to her room, she tried to shake off the unease festering within her. She pulled her tarot deck from her drawer, its colorful cards an anchor in her turbulent thoughts. As she shuffled the deck, the shadows outside lengthened. What if tonight reveals something more than she bargained for? Her heart raced as she recalled the first missing person report she had seen. An image of a girl with wide, terrified eyes. Violet took a deep breath, steadied her hands, and spread the cards out on her desk. "Please," she whispered to the cards, feeling the weight of the unsolved mysteries hovering around her. "Help me see." A sudden knock on the door pulled her from her thoughts. "Hey, it's Tara," her best friend called through the wood. "Can I come in?" With an anxious nod, Violet replied, "Sure, just be careful, okay?" Tara entered, her expression brightening the dimly lit room. "I heard about the girls. Are you okay? You're not going to do anything crazy, right?" Violet offered a small smile, comforted by her friend's presence. "Just a tarot reading, nothing crazy." "I don't know, V. With everything happening, you sure that's safe?" "Honestly, no," Violet admitted, her voice more serious now. "But I need answers, and I think the cards might help me find them." Tara's brow furrowed. "Just promise me you won't let it consume you, okay? It's rumored that each girl missing had one thing in common. They all did tarot. Remember, these are real people with real lives. It's not just a story." "I know," Violet sighed, her earlier bravado crumbling. "It's just, what if there's a connection? What if I'm meant to uncover something?" Tara reached out, squeezing Violet's hand before leaving. "Then if you do, I'll be right here. Just be careful with what you want to uncover." Feeling a bit uneasy, Violet turned to her tripod next to the desk she adorned with crystals, flickering candles, and a ring light casting dancing shadows on the walls of her room. A quick check on her laptop showed eager viewers waiting, yet as she gazed into the screen, a twist in her gut tightened. Maybe the cards will illuminate what lies ahead, she mused, adrenaline prickling her skin. The familiar thrill of her shuffling her deck was tinged with unease. "Hey, fabulous people," Violet greeted, excitement wavering slightly. "Today we're diving into a general tarot reading. Let's see what cosmic vibes surface for us." As she shuffled the cards, a chill crept over her, feeling off-kilter in the energy. When she laid out 3 cards, her heart sank. The first was the Tower, symbolizing upheaval. The second was the Ten of Swords, loss and betrayal. But it was the final card that jolted her to life. The High Priestess, radiating secrets and intuition, glowing with promise. Violet's mind spun, earlier excitement replaced by an unsettling premonition. "Wow, you guys," she marveled, trying to stay upbeat despite growing dread. "This spread shows significant change on the horizon, something that might shake our world but carries a chance for a profound understanding. A journey into the unknown awaits." As she drew another card, dread tightened around her. The Five of Wands, embodying conflict and competition, hinting at brewing chaos. A storm loomed ahead, dark and ominous. Visions crashed into her mind. Flashes of newsreels, faces of youth splashed across screens, wide-eyed with fear. Violet's heart hammered in her chest, a heavy weight settling in her stomach. The echoes of familiar stories wrapped her thoughts about individuals cast aside by society. Tapping into the energy around her felt jagged and cold, charged with something sinister. The energy sharpened, zeroing in on a silhouette, someone dangerously adrift in a tidal judgment. She sensed her desperation, a profound loneliness wrapped in shadows, echoing the plight of those who had gone missing. Each pulse of energy sent chills through her, amplifying the urgency that clung to her like a thick fog. "Listen up, friends. If this reading resonates, stay vigilant. The energy swirling around us might be hiding deep truths," she urged, her voice steady, though dread anchored in her heart. This wasn't just a reading, it was a warning, a call to recognize the lurking darkness beneath the surface. As she closed her session, her heart raced, hands trembling. Why had her reading turned so dark? Usually, her personal insights felt safe, but sharing the unsettling truth weighed heavily on her conscience. The sinister energy she sensed felt like a shroud over the world, suffocating and ominous. She took a deep breath, trying to ground herself as anxiety loomed just beneath, whispering of dangers yet to come. Today's reading was a wake-up call, a rallying cry. Perhaps her journey to Salem wasn't merely about unearthing history. Maybe the universe was guiding her toward confronting something hidden in shadows, something that connected to the missing youths echoing in her thoughts. Fueled by determination, Violet snatched her cards and crystals, fierce resolve igniting within her. She felt the weight of responsibility, a need to protect those who might be vulnerable, even if it meant facing looming shadows head-on.